First, they cursed. Now they thirst for blood. Jasmine Crockett is upping her temper tantrums, now saying the only way Democrats can win elections is by throwing hands.
I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. It's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard, right? Like, there is no niceties with him, like, at all. Like, you go clean off on him, right?
So much for Michelle Obama's when they go low, we go high. Crockett went as low as humanly possible by mocking Governor Greg Abbott for being paralyzed.
We in these hot Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot mess, honey. So,
Of course, Crockett now claims Hot Wheels was about shipping migrants out of the state. Don't you get that? Not the governor's condition. If only there was video that perfectly encapsulates the liberal inability to land a lick on MAGA. Turns out we have one. Roll it, Bjorn.
He's a racist. How can I be racist? He's a racist. If you voted for Trump, you're a racist.
I hope you enjoy the hat. Oh, she tried to attack her. She just...
Never get tired of that. So, Dana, Governor Hot Wheels, she claims that it had nothing to do with the fact that he actually moves by wheels in a wheelchair, and he's good looking.
Her cleanup was worse. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. It was super dumb. So basically she's saying, I didn't do it. And even I did do it, though, we're the victims of it. And I think that the Democrats have a problem. Remember Maxine Waters back in 2019 and 2020? She had all of those things of get up in their faces. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And that was actually really helpful for Republicans. And it helped over the years to bring more people, like the young people we're talking about over to the Republican side of things.
Mm-hmm. You know, Richard, I don't know about you, but I want to see way more of Jasmine Crockett. I want to see her everywhere. I think she is the perfect face of the modern Democrat Party. What say you?
I do think that there are a lot of Democrats that really like Jasmine Crockett. But let's be very clear here, and let's acknowledge that the name calling is on both sides of the aisle. Everybody does it. It gins up the base. I mean, I think we can go through Donald Trump's greatest hits of name calling, and we can go blow for blow. And I
can't
think
find one about a guy in a wheelchair.
I mean, I'm sure. I want to say he attacked a mentally challenged reporter once, but we can
No,
go.
that's not true.
Okay, here we go.
That's been debunked.
Once again, I think if we were to go to the list of who did more name calling, I think Donald Trump would win that list.
Again,
but
he
either way,
he didn't denigrate somebody in a wheelchair.
Let's talk about the issues. So today, the consumer confidence numbers came out. And what those numbers point to is a sharp decline amongst Americans on how they feel about their own financial situation. And the two things that the report points to is both tariffs and inflation. And I think this is an opportunity for Democrats, right? Because right now I think the Democratic Party has the lowest approval rating that they've had in decades. And I think this should be an opportunity for Democrats to talk about how they will have a plan to move the country forward. In the 2024 election, Democrats spent a lot of time talking about how terrible Project 2025 was, and they didn't author their own plan about how they want to move the country forward. And I think that's where there's a lot of voters looking to the Democratic Party saying, what are you going to do? Why aren't you fighting hard enough? Why aren't you doing that? Well, that's why there's all this ire against Chuck Schumer and others on Capitol Hill, because we hear a lot of, we don't like Trump, insert whatever Trump does, blank, we hate it, instead of saying, what are you going to do to make my life better because I'm feeling pain because the price of eggs are too high, the price of bacon's too high right now. We did a story earlier today on the show, on the channel about how the price of toys are too high. And I think
Eggs are
now,
down, gas is down.
Well,
Those
I mean,
are two big
it's
deals.
but it's still too high.
It's funny because eggs give me gas.
Sure,
No,
they might. But this is about how Democrats can move forward and win over back their voters, because their voters want them to fight a little bit
is what
harder.
you're saying. They
No,
need to
I'm
lie
saying they
about
should come
the
up
gas
with,
and...
I think they should come up with a plan that allows them to speak to the pain that the American people are feeling. Because if the consumer confidence numbers point to the fact that tariffs and inflation are harming consumer confidence, it's actually the lowest it's been in 12 years.
Neither of them have been affected by Trump in terms of raising inflation or the tariffs in action anyway. But anyway, Judge, what do you say you?
Well, I think if you want to talk about the Dems, I think the first thing we should do is focus on the fact that they were the ones behind that summer of love and the peaceful protests when they were burning down cities and federal courthouses and Tesla now. And, you know, from, as Dana said, Maxine Waters, you get in their face, you make a crowd, to now punch out your opponent, to you got to knock them over the head like hard. And, you know, she didn't clean up that Hot Wheels about Greg Abbott. But then again, it's like what the Democrats do. Joe Biden's the one who told a paraplegic, stand up, Chuck, let them see you. I just think that, you know, they are so lost and they just have no idea how to come back. They're cursing, they're fighting, they're burning, they're lost. I said it months ago. The party is over. They've got to come up with something new. And this woman chasing a guy that's New York City. That's a subway. In New York City, you can wear a MAGA hat. It's not a problem anymore. The Democrats are the ones who make fools of themselves, which is one of the reasons why Donald Trump won.
Jesse, you know, they called Musk a Nazi, and next thing you know, you got swastikas on cars. They called Trump Hitler and a Nazi and a fascist, and he got shot. So I don't really ever see that happening on the Republican side when we make fun of Democrats. It's also about the supporters. It's not just the leaders. It seems like Democrats are easily programmed to do bad things.
Yes, they are. They're very easily programmed, Greg.
I made you say that.
I don't really care what she says. You know, if she wants to make a joke about Hot Wheels, it just makes her look bad. And they shouldn't censor her because I want to reserve the right to make fun of other people. Mm-hmm. Okay? We should all have freedom of speech, and you shouldn't get censored because you say something. And if she says we got to punch him, knock him over the head, we say that stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. It's a euphemism for fighting harder. Richard brings up a point, though. He wants to see them fight harder. Fight harder for what? What's the plan? You keep bringing up the cost of rent's too high. You had 4 years to come up with a plan. If you had a plan, you would have said it already. You don't have a plan. Your plan backfired. You drove the costs of living up to like 30-year highs. And then your plan was to do nothing and blame Russia. They don't have a plan. They're never going to come up with the plan. So to say that they want this and they want that, they don't want it. They just want to get out of responsibility. They just want to look better for their voters. That's all this is, to look better so their voters aren't mad at them. Because now their voters are just as mad at Trump as they are with Chuck Schumer. That's your problem. You guys don't think. You don't have any ideas. Having an idea is different than being against what Trump wants. Being against Trump's not an idea.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
For Democrats.
That's a great idea for a magazine, Against Trump. It's like how to live your life totally against Trump. It'd be like
how to deal with your bruises when you fall in the subway trying to take someone's MAGA
I think
hat.
it's called Teen Vogue. Coming up, the anti-Musk Democrats have a new target.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.